Welcome, everyone, to the used to be called Bagel Gabe pod, but now it is Weird Name Pod. So thank you to Sarah Lim for tweeting that. I thought it was funny, and then I was like, you know what, that is genius, so I need to do that. Anyway, today I have two wonderful guests with me. I have my good friends Gabe Miller.
Hello.
And Gabe Rodriguez.
What's up?
So yes, tonight it is Gabe Cubed, and
It is.
that's very.
It's so clever.
It really is. Have you actually? I'm not sure. Have you guys ever talked to each other before?
No, this is actually the first time we've talked in person.
Right.
Wow, that's
Yep.
really.
How's it
crazy.
going, Gabe Miller? Nice to meet you.
It is good, man. Nice to officially meet you.
Yes.
Nice.
Because somebody hasn't come to BlimeyCon, and I
working
will
on
not go to VidCon. I'm very sorry.
That's fair.
Dang.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Just can't do it.
So, Gabe Rodriguez, what do you do?
What do I do?
Yes, introduce yourself to the people who have no idea who you are, even though most people who are listening to this are Blimey Cow patrons. But, that's besides the point.
Let's see. I am 23 years old. I am probably one of like two Catholics in the entire Blimey Cow community, it seems. I drive a forklift for money, and
Whoa.
I have a podcast about movies for fun.
Nice.
And when was the last time you uploaded an episode?
Hey, actually, my update thing was Monday? Yeah. I did an update thing Monday, and then a week before that was an actual episode. What was it about? It was about a Star Wars movie, I believe.
Ooh,
can't
controversial.
Polarizing.
It actually kind of was, because it was about episode 6, and my guest, Susan, didn't like it very much. I mean, it was an interesting conversation. It was.
I'll
it was
have
fun.
to. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'll have to listen to that later. Actually.
Yeah. You sounded like you were accusing me of never uploading, but I have uploaded.
Yes, I
recently.
forgot. I completely
Sir,
forgot that you actually just did.
Sir, keep up.
I'll try.
Wait, what do you use for your podcast?
What do you
Like
mean, what do I use?
app? What app? Like just the podcast app on like.
Oh yeah. Podcast app.
Okay. Cool. Can I say what my podcast is named? Because I don't think I said that.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's called the Bargain Bin Movie Podcast, and right now we're moving over to Anchor, so like the feed will be hosted by Anchor because it's free. So it's
Nice.
Anchor.fm/Bargain Bin, and that's it. Yep.
So Gabe Miller,
Yes.
introduce yourself.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Gabe Miller. I am 21. I go to university for engineering for, well, not a living, but eventually, hopefully, be an engineer for a living. And I run a YouTube channel called Gabe Miller Music, where I make electronic music, lots of stuff, especially lately with synthesizers and synthesizer geekery, and I show you the process as I make electronic music. It's a good time.
Awesome. It definitely is. I would know because I am subscribed. Those are my dogs. If you can't hear those.
Goodness gracious.
Dogs!
Not the dog.
I love it when I record podcasts with people who also listen to the inner tube, and we just make inner tube references the whole time.
Right. Every
It's the
podcast with people who listen to the inner tube just becomes how many inner tube references happen.
Right.
Like same with like Ryan Matlock's podcast. It became like the same thing where they like restrained themselves from making inner tube references because they like almost couldn't help themselves.
And then their podcast died.
It did.
Wah, wah,
I'm still
wah.
holding out hope.
Yeah, it was really enjoyable. But talking about podcasts that are alive, this week on the show. So we have like literally no plan because Gabe Miller just tweeted and he was like, hey, we got to have Gabe Cubed, and here we are. So what do you want to talk about, guys? Before we started recording, we had a little tiny chat about movies. So
I'm ready to
wanna talk
lean
about
into
that?
that
Absolutely.
because I think all three of us have opinions
Oh,
on movies.
absolutely.
Well, especially Rodriguez, but I think all three of us.
For sure.
Absolutely. The guy with the movie podcast. Go figure. If
He hates movies.
if you hear,
just as a concept.
oh yeah, I hate movies. Just yep. Mm-hmm.
It's just a
We should
character.
all go back to reading books and become a more civilized society.
But yeah, if you did not know, that about what was it? The December 21st, I think there was a little indie movie that dropped. I believe it was, what was it called?
Enter the Spider-Verse? Something Spider-Verse, man.
Dude, okay, I gotta break this. It annoys me so much when people say "enter the Spider-Verse."
I know. That's
It's like it's right there, guys. Just
it's not that hard.
IMDb.
People say that? I haven't heard that at
You
all.
haven't?
That's terrible.
I've seen it a
No.
couple of times. It's not like rampant, but it's
okay.
an easy mistake
Yeah.
to make.
Right. You know what? I probably, that rings a bell, but I probably didn't even catch it, or I was just like, you don't know anything about movies anyway. What do I care if you make a mistake?
Harsh, but true.
I don't know.
Oof.
Like, I don't know if the New York Times is like, enter the Spider-Verse. I'm like, sure, whatever. I don't care.
Yes. And
Yeah, so
another
that
film
movie
that
came
came out, like, was it like a week apart? Was Aquaman?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I believe so. Yeah.
Hold on, I actually gotta.
I saw
I'm gonna check out IMDb.
I saw them further apart than that because like I went Adam tickets and like Aquaman. Adam tickets and Amazon had a thing where you could watch it like early and your like first ticket is half off or something like that. So I saw it like a couple days early.
Okay, cool.
So that was cool.
Nice.
Yep. And then Spider-Verse came out a week after that Friday.
Okay, gotcha.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, Spider-Verse came out on December 14th, and Aquaman came out on December 21st.
Okay,
I see.
gotcha.
Okay, so it was the other way around.
Mm.
So I was just gonna say, like, I almost went and did like a double feature, but I'm like, I know
That's
that I'm
exhausting,
going to
though.
like Spider-Verse more, and I didn't want to watch the worst movie second, and that be the last thing, the taste in my mouth at the end of the night, because there was only one showing of Aquaman, and it was like at 7:30 or something,
Yeah.
so there wasn't gonna be watching any more movies after that. So I was right. I
Shocker
made
of
the
all
right
shockers.
decision.
Man.
Yeah.
Who
Yeah.
would've
Which
thought?
one made more? Do you guys know how much Aquaman made?
Aquaman's
like-
been making hella bank.
Man, I don't know how to.
Super.
So, like, if you don't know, I work at a movie theater, and I get to see how many people go to which movies each day. And Aquaman it's a powerhouse. It's insane. Like, the movie theater I work at has like one IMAX theater, and all they've been showing has been just Aquaman for the past couple weeks since it came out.
Mhm.
It's really weird.
Yeah, it's a good one to spend more money on for just to kind of up your experience a little
Yeah.
bit.
I mean, it's weird, man, because I would much rather see Spider-Verse in IMAX just because it's already so beautiful, and then you get just,
Right.
and that just kind of adds to it a lot because it's already good in every way, and then
Yeah, one
Yeah.
thing I was thinking about after having seen both was the attention to detail on Spider-Verse is like off the charts, whereas on Aquaman, it's not. So, for instance, like the music choices was one that really stuck out to me. Where in Spider-Verse, all the music like feels like it's authentic to the environment, it's authentic to the characters. A lot of it was written specifically for the movie. And then a lot of it with Aquaman felt like it was just like, well, I guess we need music here. So just kind of shoehorn Pitbull singing a terrible cover of Africa or whatever.
Yeah, we're
And
in
even down-
Africa. Hey, I
Right.
guess we'll put in Africa, the song here. But
The kids
make a
like it,
remix
don't
with
they?
Pitbull.
What's that song the kids have brought back, Sonny?
Right, exactly. Who do people like these days? Oh, Pitbull. Oh, okay.
Pitbull
I
of
like
Africa.
I heard Africa was gonna be in the
Perfect.
movie, and I was so disappointed when it was a cover by Pitbull.
Right. It was probably too expensive to actually license.
That's probably true.
So Pitbull's like plan B.
Jeez.
Pitbull.
Imagine being the plan B of Hollywood music.
Seriously.
Well, at least Jack Douglas is happy with it, you know.
Yes,
So
that does make me happy. That's the one silver lining.
that's the
Is his
only good
enthusiasm
thing
for
to
it.
come out of the Aquaman soundtrack.
Yeah. And even down to like the end credits song, like the whole movie, especially in the last half, is like this testosterone fueled thrill ride, battles and explosions and and then it's like this like top 40 pop song at the end. That's this total disconnect. Like it doesn't fit with it's not a bad song, but it doesn't fit with the tone at all.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And like once again, it's like, well, I guess we need a song here. That's what people like, right? People like songs.
Right. The message and like the kind of implication of that last song is that this was a love story, and this is the song from the female character to the male character.
Right.
And just like that's not what this movie was about at all,
Right.
and that's not how she felt about him at
Right.
all.
Right.
It's,
Yeah.
It's like it's a nice song, but it makes no sense.
Yeah. And it's like, I don't know, like I definitely had fun watching it, but it's the kind of thing that once you think about it afterwards, like, wow, that wasn't all that like interesting or whatnot, or as smart as it seems to think it is.
Right.
And there are lines like when,
Like, why was Black Manta there?
right, or when she's like, no, there are too many casualties. Like that's a weird line to begin with, and then they kiss for a solid 30 seconds, during which there are
Oh,
many
yeah,
more
uh-huh.
casualties.
Wow.
It's
I
like,
completely missed that line. But
Now
yeah, the
now
kissing
I
in the
actually
middle
want to
of
watch
the
it
battle.
again just for that.
like once again, it's there purely for the fact that it's a cool looking shot, and it is a cool looking shot. But it just, if you think about it too long, you're like, yeah, but
Right. Yeah, and the implication, like, I've heard people complain about that just because it's like a battle and they're just standing there talking and kissing.
right,
And they should be like getting hit with arrows
That's
or
like
something.
the most. It's the most obvious thing ever, where all you can think is, "Yo, guys."
Right. Why?
right,
I mean, you were obviously in a green screen, didn't know what was happening anyway, and then
Right.
they just somebody else made this decision later on. Like, oh, this will look cool. Let's do this.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, totally,
We're good.
Like, I know that, like, one of the biggest critiques, like, I guess kind of in its defense, I know that, like, one of the biggest critiques of it is that it's too cartoony. But I know that, do you guys watch Chris Stuckman, the movie reviewer?
no,
No, okay.
Yeah, but I haven't seen Aquaman's or his
Okay.
review of Aquaman.
But yeah, basically one of the biggest critiques of Aquaman is that it's too cartoony. And so Chris Stuckman said that he really thought that that's what the director was going for, to kind of basically make it a live action, like, Saturday morning cartoon.
yeah, and I wouldn't have minded that if that's what it ended up being.
Yeah, I just, and that's fine if that's what he was going for, because that would
Yeah.
make a lot of it better. But also,
Right.
I don't know if it was cartoony enough, if that's what he was
Yeah.
going for.
Right.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's like
Absolutely.
he tried. I mean, this is a thing with DC, is that historically the kind of head honchos have been very controlling of the movies, so they don't let the directors make the movie they want to make necessarily. Which, like, I'm still, like, I mean, my controversial opinion is that something like Justice League wouldn't have been good had Zack Snyder been allowed to make the movie he wanted to make anyway. But regardless,
Right.
they made it way worse by having all these stipulations like, you must do this, and you must make it this way, and by the way, we're going to kick you out and get Joss Whedon. And then Joss Whedon, you must do this and you must do this. Like, they're pretty
Right.
overbearing with the way that they handle their creatives. And so, like,
Absolutely.
I have no doubt that maybe the director wanted to make it as cartoony as he could, and they were like, no, that's too scary. People won't like it, or focus groups don't like it, so don't do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which
Did
is
you
a
just
bummer.
say? Did you just say Josh Whedon?
Joss Whedon.
Josh Whedon. It's
Christian!
Wow.
You don't know Josh
Wow.
Whedon is the
Well
main
done.
character
Oh
in God's
my
Not
gosh.
Dead.
I just watched that movie again for the first time in a long time.
Why?
And I still miss that reference. I'm doing the whole trilogy for the podcast.
whole
Oh,
trilogy.
nice.
That's
Yeah.
actually.
So
I commend you.
I've Thank
I
you.
too commend you. Watching it so the rest of
I
us don't have
appreciate
to.
The third one wasn't. I didn't want to boil my head
Yeah, I
in
heard
the
it
third-
wasn't
watching the
that
third one.
bad, and that it was at least
Yeah.
self-aware enough to be like, maybe we shouldn't be like the whole world is stupid.
Right, exactly. It was a movie,
Right.
unlike the other two.
It wasn't just a straight up propaganda piece.
Right, and it didn't have 15 movies all jammed into one.
Oh man, I want to see a Pure Flix Infinity War.
Oh gosh.
Right, that was it.
I'm sure
That was the
I'm
next-
sure
someone-
they've done something similar. Didn't they make like an apocalyptic something or other like a long friggin' time ago?
I don't remember.
I feel like I saw a trailer for that at some point. Don't quote me on that.
I don't know.
Like they've dabbled in every genre you can imagine. You know, they've tried their hands
Yeah.
at sitcoms and dramas and
Mhm.
thrillers and all the kind of stuff that they probably shouldn't be making. And so if it exists, it wouldn't surprise me.
That'd be funny though.
What were we talking
That'd be
about?
funny if it was like an actual. They were in an actual
sorry.
battle, and then those two guys. Oh, God is good all the time. And they come in. Some guy's dying. They come to him, and then it's like, oh, you're fine now because God.
Right.
You're
They're
not
like,
dead
no, there are
anymore.
too many casualties.
Too many casualties.
Full circle.
Oh.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay,
You
all
good.
right. I cut out for a second, and then
You're good.
I came back.
Yes.
Okay.
Just like Jesus.
All the time.
He cut out for a second for 3 days. Great. Oh boy.
Oh wow. Okay.
Edgy Christian jokes.
Man.
I like it.
Of course.
That's like our whole brand is
It is.
edgy Christian jokes.
We're all influenced
Oh,
by
boy.
Kevin McCreary.
A little too much.
Yeah.
Well, because Kevin and McCreary and Josh Taylor, that's like both. You know,
That's
it's
like-
blasphemy. No, it's Jesus, man.
Oh, I can't wait. I hope that returns someday.
I
Yeah,
would love
I
if
want
they
that to
brought
come
that back. All of like the subscribers who subscribe to them for normal stuff would be so confused. It'd be awesome.
I wonder if they
Right.
if and when they make it, it would just be unlisted, just like the original, and it's only in the playlist.
Sure.
Like,
And it's like it's like an Easter egg that you like go through end cards to get to,
oh yeah,
because they've done that a
That
few
would be
times.
amazing.
yeah. From that, we actually got the bass and me too.
Yes. The
That
bass.
was a classic.
I still haven't been able to find that. I was actually, so I sampled a bunch of YouTubers in a song that I have coming out in a couple of months, and I actually sampled Jordan saying the bass at one point, like in between a couple of bass hits.
That's
And so
pretty
I was
great.
trying to find the
Oh,
bass in me too,
wow.
because that's like a higher quality record, and I could not find the video it was attached to, but it's in there. It's in there. The
That was
bass.
amazing.
Amazing.
I cannot wait for that. That is still like the.
I was
That's like the best Blimey Cut video, if I'm honest.
I was so confused. People referencing that before I had seen the bass in me. I'm like, what are you
like
guys,
even with
why do you
context,
sound
it's
like Mickey
weird
Mouse?
enough. So with no
right.
context,
Yeah, I'm just like, when did Mickey Mouse ever go?
in his like raspy voice.
Yeah, when did Mickey Mouse
Right.
ever go, "You're at the supermarket the whole time"?
Jeez.
I'm firmly of the opinion
Yeah.
though that the Taylors were way ahead of their time with like a lot of those actually. Like they
Oh,
were ahead
yeah.
of the curve in terms of like the humor. Like a lot of
course.
those like stuff like delayed vision and stuff like that. Those are some really funny ideas.
Yeah,
some
like,
of
I feel
the-
like
Yeah.
I feel like not a lot of people would have thought that back then, but I look at them now and they're actually really funny.
Right. Like it's this kind of dry humor, but it, like I don't know. It almost reminds me of like kind of the Monty Python thing where it's like it's very dry, but it's very silly, kind of existing at the same time. And I really like that. Like a lot of it's really cleverly written, you know, for all the
Yeah.
deficiencies in like video quality. Like a lot of the writing and like delivery of lines and stuff is all really funny.
Yeah, it's
Oh, yeah,
worth getting
absolutely.
through the potato quality of the video.
Right.
It's just it's
Like at some point,
It's
it
worth
adds
it.
to its charm, almost.
yeah, like I feel like someone who would just click on it from their suggestions, they would just think, "Oh, this is just bad because of the quality," but it's worth staying through.
Right.
'cause
If you've
it's-
like gone down the rabbit hole far enough.
Yeah.
and
It's
you're
good.
like prepared for it, it's pretty glorious.
Really though.
Absolutely. It's really funny. So, Miller,
Yes.
I have a music and movie related question
Ooh,
for you.
all right.
I watched a YouTube video essay. Watched a video essay on Spider-Verse. And they were saying that they really hope that in the sequel they don't use like such like new music, like the pop music that's in now,
Oh.
because they think that it will date the
yeah.
movie.
I saw that same exact video essay because I'm subscribed to that guy and he's amazing. But it's just I
don't
can't
even
agree with
know
him on
who
that.
is that?
No, I fully
Who's the
disagree
video
with that
by?
as well.
The video is by Karsten Runquist. I just butchered his name for a
Okay.
second there.
Okay. Yeah, not heard
Well,
of
there
him.
you go.
No, I do fully disagree with that actually. But it has it
Okay.
has to be done as well as it was in the first one. But I think in some ways dating your movie is not necessarily bad as long as you do it tastefully. So like a
okay.
weird example where it kind of both works in its favor and not in its favor is Shrek, where it's got all these like 90s and early 2000s references like The Matrix and Smash Mouth and stuff. And where it should have dated it, it actually means that Shrek is like this weird little time capsule of the 2000s, of like the early 2000s and late 90s. That's like
Right.
preserved for the rest of us to like to remember it afterwards. And so I think that's not a bad thing at all. And I think Spider-Verse could definitely be that. It's very much intended to be a snapshot in time of the way people are feeling in America and whatnot. So I fully disagree with that, actually. I think the music adds to that.
Yeah,
And-
because I know he brought up, like, as a comparison, the Steve Martin She Would Ride the Dozen movie, and how, oh, you're enjoying it, and then an old 2000s song comes out and is like, that's from the 2000s. Because he loves Spider-Verse so much that he wants it just be, like, timeless forever.
Sure.
And people to never, look back at it as, oh, that's just back then.
Right.
Which, I don't know about that because, people love 80s films, and they're always
Right.
so blatantly 80s, but people
Yes.
don't care.
Right, like something like Back to the Future is so
Yeah.
aggressively 80s. And I
People
love it
still
for
call
that.
them masterpieces.
Right. Like, I remember going into it, before I didn't have, like, at the time I saw it, I didn't have, like, that much appreciation for, like, 80s music and stuff. And that kind of started my appreciation for more things like 80s and the kind of the old synth-y kind of stuff. And so... Yeah, once again, that's another good example of a movie that... I mean, I guess it depends... What it really depends on is how intentionally it was done. Because if it's like the Aquaman approach where you just put a song in there, and then it's there...
Right.
It'll
That
date itself
will be
just because
way
it-
more dated than anything.
Yes, exactly. Because
100%. Yeah.
it's lazy and it's not all that intentional. Whereas Spider-Verse, the way it's current is very intentional, and I think in that way it'll make it timeless because it's a snapshot of that time.
I agree,
Interesting. I like it.
for sure.
So no, I hope they lean into that like moving forward. I think that's part of its
Right.
charm.
I mean,
Yeah.
I just hope that we don't hate the, Post Malone song and the Jaden Smith song later on, because part of the timelessness of those other movies are we like all of those
Sure.
songs still. Like the stuff from the 80s that has survived because
Right.
it's good.
yeah, totally.
So it's just a little bit of a toss up there. So hopefully it stands the test
Yeah.
of time.
Hopefully. Because so far it's looking good because, like, Sunflower is actually, like, my favorite song right now, and I can't stop
It's a
listening
good
to
song,
it.
man.
Yeah, I
It's a
really
really
like
good
that
song.
song.
Yeah.
I was very surprised when I was like, "Oh, that's a Jaden Smith." I hate Jaden Smith.
Yeah, I was
don't
sitting
like
there
this
like
song.
in the credits, like kind of like head bobbing, and then the credits
yeah.
pop up, and I was like paying attention to who did the music. And I saw like, oh, Post Malone with Sunflower.
Right.
Yeah, that seems about right. And then I saw like
Right.
Jaden Smith. I was like, what? Okay, cool. Good
Nice.
job to
Good
Jaden
job,
Smith.
Jaden.
Well
Yeah.
done, man.
Also, I really also think it's looking good because my friend Alden, he really is not into Post Malone at all, but he loves Sunflower.
Yeah.
So
I mean, heck, my brother
I
is
think
not
they did a
into-
really good job with the
Yeah.
soundtrack. I
My
almost
brother's
said
not into hip hop in
soundtrack.
general. Like, it's not his first choice of listening. and he'll defend the soundtrack just as much as I will in terms
Yeah,
of its
it just
quality
fits
and
so
its
well.
appropriateness for the movie. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right, yeah, it all fits rather than like even worse than that still in the DC universe is the Suicide Squad, where like a full 20 minutes at least of that movie is just music video after
Right.
music video after music video. You're just like, why? Can we get back to a
Right.
movie, please?
No more
I have a hot
montaging.
take, though.
Thank you.
Yeah, hot take.
Hot take. Suicide Squad is not a terrible movie. I've only seen
That
it
is a hot
once, so
take.
there's nothing I can really say to be like,
Sure.
oh, this part saved it all. It's it
Oh,
was just
no.
a really entertaining thing, and it's kind of entertaining, not like Aquaman, but like I kept thinking about it because it was really entertaining to me.
It's stuck in your
personally.
head.
It doesn't necessarily mean it's a really fantastic movie, but Will Smith was really good, and just yeah.
Yeah.
Will Smith was himself.
Yes.
And Will
Was-
Smith is a likable
Yes,
guy.
Will Smith
Absolutely.
as himself is
That doesn't
inherently
count.
likable.
Anything, yeah. There's always something
There's
to like.
hat. There's hat.
Yeah.
Speaking of dating, this now.
The hat? What?
I don't even know what that
It's
is
a
actually.
it's a YouTube rewind reference.
Wait, what did you say?
That's
Did you
hot. That's hot.
Oh, I
that's
thought you were
hot.
saying,
Oh.
this hat.
say? Yeah, that's
what
what I
hat?
heard too.
No.
What hat?
Hat.
I can't see my hat.
That's
what are you
hot.
talking about?
That's
Like, speaking
hot.
of dating this, hats, am I right?
Hats.
People wear them on their
Right,
head.
exactly. So confused. We wear them on our feet now in the future.
They're rocket
Wow.
packs. We fly
No.
around on them.
What,
That'd be
what are you
awesome.
guys talking about? I wear them on my elbows.
Ooh. That's the new wave of the future,
I haven't
man.
got onto that trend yet, okay?
You-
Don't tell anybody.
I'll just keep wearing a hat on my head and eventually it'll come back around because it's all cyclical.
There you go. Exactly.
Oh man, someone's
Yeah,
gonna
that
be
movie was
listening to
awful.
this.
I don't know what you're talking
Someone's
about.
gonna be listening to this like 150 years from now, and they're gonna be like, idiots. They don't even know.
They don't
wear
even
hats.
know what we do with hats, man. We've transcended hats.
Oh, no.
Oh man.
Yeah, hot take with regard to Suicide Squad. I haven't seen it. That's my
Gasp.
hot take.
Oh, no. I was going to ask you if you agreed with him or if you also thought it
No,
was a
I have no
terrible
opinion
movie.
on it.
Hmm.
I have no opinion on it whatsoever.
Oh, man.
It's worth.
Well,
if you just look for a good time, then you'll probably like it.
Okay, you just have to go
It's
in with
good
the
for a
right
good time.
mindset.
Yeah.
Because I bailed after Batman v Superman, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
I almost bailed after
Like Christian
after that.
bailed.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I
Nice.
left the theater and I was almost like
I-
disgusted, almost.
I was
Yeah.
mad. I was livid.
Yeah, I was too.
I wanted to punch something.
Yeah, I was not happy. Like the whole drive home, I was just sitting there going, "Wow, wow, oh,
Yeah, 8 full minutes of Batman v Superman thrown into a 2.5 hour slog fest. Just-
right." The big thing for
Blah.
me was like the thing that I think Kevin McCree said this in his review. He was like, "Wow, I hate everyone in this movie." Like I was all right. Yeah, I want Superman, or I want Batman to punch Superman in his punk face, man. That's all I want. That's all I want to see. That'll save this movie for me. Is Batman punching Superman in the face. Then it happens, and even that wasn't satisfying because I hate Batman too. He sucks. I hate everyone
Right.
in this movie. They're all so.
What was with like the vocoded when he was in the
Okay,
Batman
well, I think
suit? He had like
that's
this
cool.
weird voice.
I think that's
Oh,
cool.
yeah?
I can dig
No,
that.
I like that. Look, okay,
Well,
look.
He's just an unlikable
I don't remember like
character.
any of
Either-
it, to be quite honest. All I remember from the movie was what was it? Jesse Eisenberg? Was that his
Yeah,
name?
yeah.
Was that the
Right.
guy? Okay. I always get him confused with Michael Cera. So,
Most people do.
but I all I remember was just him in the jail cell going.
Right.
Like, what was that?
Yeah.
Like, okay, man, sure.
Yeah.
That's fine.
And it's like with Batman being unlikable, like I was talking to a friend of mine who's a major comic book nerd, and he was telling me that nerd that in a lot of kind of the more kind of gritty, serious incarnations of the comics, Batman is kind of this anti-hero in that he almost like allows and creates crime because he's kind of this crazy person who needs to like beat on bad guys to feel like he's worthwhile. Like he's actually like crazy, and it's this interesting look at like mental health and mental illness, and if you cast it in that light, that's an interesting character in its own way. But the problem is in Batman vs Superman, it was neither. He was just kind of
Right. That wasn't his
Superman
character in
bad.
this movie.
I'm angry.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Wow.
I can.
You did the Christian Bale voice and it just broke your voice.
Dude, every time I have 2 Lego Batman videos on my channel.
Oh gosh.
The one from like last year was when the Lego Batman movie words got snubbed by the Oscars, and so I made a video about Batman's reaction to that.
Yep.
And that took me like a week to voice because, dude,
I
that
can
does
only
stuff to your voice,
imagine. That's brutal.
especially when you have like really long lines and you have to redo them because you messed them up.
Right, and especially if it's like most of it's Batman monologuing, right?
Yeah,
Just because he's really mad, and he says,
I'm still really proud of that video though. Like,
it's great.
I'm glad I spent the time on it. Like, I spent my time on something good rather than something that wasn't funny.
right. No, that was funny.
Yeah, that was a good video.
Good,
Here's an
good.
interesting question then related to that. I've always wondered about this because when I was like really little, I dabbled in like stop motion animation before, and the thing I always had trouble with was timing. How do you get
Timing.
comedic
Timing.
time? How do you get comedic timing with animation? Or is it
You have a sense of humor.
but I mean, is it more in the voice and less in, or for you specifically, is it less in the animation and more on the voice work where the comedic timing comes from?
To
That
me
make sense?
personally, I think it's much more in the voice.
Okay.
Like with the animation, especially if it's just like dialogue, you just need like a couple different shots of them talking, moving their arms. And then with the voice, I feel like that's where most of it really happens. And then as you're doing it, because I record, I use like a weird kind of app for my stop motion, but it's always worked for me. So
Nice.
yeah.
Okay,
So
cool.
I kind of just
What's it called?
it's Stop Motion Studio Pro, I'm pretty sure. And only the pros use it because I do.
Nice.
But yeah, basically, you kind of just record over like a certain frame, and then that'll just go across it. If that makes any sense, it's kind of hard to explain unless you're doing it. But basically, I record over it, and then I time it all together, and voila. Sometimes
Okay, cool.
actually, it really is all in the voice, and also kind of where you place it, because sometimes I'll have like a frame that lingers for half a second too long or too little, so it's like
Sure.
it has to be like really exact. But the voice is definitely like the most important part of getting there, I think.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah, because I definitely do redo my lines more than I probably should. But yeah, I always just want to make sure they're as like perfect as I can possibly make them.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially since like
Yeah.
in terms of a joke, timing is everything.
Yeah, for sure. And a lot, especially like recently when I've been writing scripts, I've kind of made sure that it's something that I think is funny. And it's the best when I voice, and I can't voice the whole thing all in one take because I'm just laughing at it. Although
That's
it's funny
good.
because, of course, I have to revoice so much that I'm like, wait, is this funny? But it's this, oh,
Right,
wow,
you start
wait
to
a
question
minute.
yourself.
I laughed
You-
at that.
You got to hold on
Yeah.
to that feeling of like, no,
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
this is funny. I find
Yeah, I
this
have to
funny.
remember, like, I've already voiced like 50 times since the time I laughed in the recording, so it's
Right.
it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Nice. So, what movies are y'all excited for next year or this year? Never mind.
This year, oh wow, it is this year. Probably. Although I'm being cautious, but my most anticipated film of this year currently is Toy Story 4.
Yeah.
Absolutely, because like, basically, like, Toy Story is like the main thing from my childhood that I grew up with.
Yeah.
And like even when I saw Toy Story 3, that was just like still I don't even know because I know that like a lot of people who saw Toy Story 3 were like in their 20s, except like I was 11 when I saw it.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's heavy,
But
bro.
it's still yeah, honestly though, it's so odd. So I was still kind of like it was still kind of a part of my childhood in a way.
Yeah, definitely.
Although it still felt like a long time since the first one, even though I wasn't even alive for the first one.
Yep, same.
But the second one did come the year it was born, so there's that.
Nice.
Yeah, actually, I was kind of just like right out of the womb watching Toy Story.
Nice.
Basically, like
Nice.
honestly. So it's like that's like
Amazing.
the earliest thing I can remember watching probably. So yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, it's important to me.
Didn't this first Toy Story come out in like 1995?
That is correct.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
Ah.
It was
Yeah.
the first
So-
feature-length computer animated movie, I believe, ever.
Yeah, that's correct.
I believe you're right. Mm-hmm. That's why they were toys,
Right.
because they couldn't animate
Right.
people
They tried, and it was
at all.
They had ways to go.
Like
scary.
if you look at the people in the
They're a
first
little
Toy Story
odd
movie,
looking.
a little odd, especially like if
Mhm.
you look at I don't know, Andy's mom in the background.
Yeah.
It's like, what is that thing? But it's
Right. You only ever see her legs in that one, right?
no. There's a shot
See her
where
face, like, a couple of times.
yeah,
think.
specifically there's a shot where she's like, Andy, we're going to Pizza Planet or whatever. She says, I haven't seen it in a while. I have to rewatch them right before I see the new one.
Yeah.
But yeah, you see it
Mm.
for a second, and it's kind of just like a weird mouth opening and closing. It's really
Oh,
weird.
jeez.
That
But yeah.
that movie's one that I can like watch over and over. Though specifically the first and second one, because the third one's like a little much to watch a bunch. Because it's like, whew.
Yeah, because it's pretty
That's
it's
true,
pretty
yeah.
heavy.
Yeah,
honestly.
but the first and second, like, I'm pretty much always in the mood to watch one of those, and I've seen those movies so many times, and I would happily
Absolutely.
watch it again, like right now. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure. Like if you guys were just like, hey, wanna just watch that right now, we'll find a website to like watch it together. I
Right.
would be
Done.
fine with that.
Done.
Forget the podcast.
We're watching Toy Story 1 and 2, man.
100%.
Yeah.
The third one kind of made my life, though,
Yeah.
because I feel like if that one didn't exist, I'd always wonder, like, what would happen when their like worst fears come to fruition and Andy
Yeah.
grows up, and that's what would happen. We all cry in
Right.
the movie theater.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm very curious as to what exactly the tiers will be in this next one, because apparently it's really a lot for Tim Allen.
Yep.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, he said
A
he
lot?
said he could barely get through the last scene.
Dang.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
Wow. I might be excited for this
Yeah,
movie
he
now.
said-
I wasn't
he said
really
it was,
before you said that.
Yeah, he said it was frankly, my darling, I don't give a damn moment.
Wow.
So
Dang.
I don't know what that even means, because that's completely different from his previous statement, which was comparing it to Infinity War. So I have no idea. It could be anything.
Yeah. I mean,
Wow.
either
I'm very
Okay.
curious.
either
because-
comparison works for me. I'm down.
Yeah,
I'll take it.
I'm really curious
Wow.
because you can give like an easy answer. Oh, someone dies, but like how?
There's gotta be
Because it's
something
all
with
about
more
It's all
emotional
about
weight.
context.
Than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like
Yeah, for
when
sure.
Pixar does their like
Mm-hmm.
emotional gut punches, they're always smarter than just like a cheap death or something. Like it's
Oh, yeah,
always
for sure.
a very well established, very carefully set up moment that like they've spent the whole movie building towards. Like in Coco's a really good example where, like the moment at, well, spoilers, but it's not really that much of a spoiler. The moment near the end where they sing, and you know I'm over here,
Oh, yeah.
grown man
Yes.
sitting like misty eyed in the theater. Like that moment was very carefully built up to be that bittersweet
Absolutely.
moment.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Confession. I think before Coco, I had never cried
Same.
in a movie, and I cried
Yeah.
in that movie, like legit cried, because
It's an amazing
And
film.
I want to chalk it up to being like really tired and like missing my family at the time.
Yeah.
and all this other stuff, but like, and also like I related to Coco because like my grandma had dementia,
Mhm.
and so she would like forget like who we were a lot when we
That's
would go to
tough.
see her, and so just all that rolled together. I was like, oh no,
Yeah.
Just a puddle
Absolutely.
of
Same here,
tears.
actually.
Yeah.
Wow.
The other one where I came close, because I don't think I've actually like legit cried in a movie ever since like, you know, being a little kid and being like, I'm scared or something. But like when
Right,
something's like
exactly.
emotional enough to movie, like the only other one is Inside Out.
Mm. Oh yeah.
Okay.
There are
Which
two possible
part?
moments, and once again, this is a
The end?
spoiler. But when the blue and yellow ball rolls out of the thing, because the
Right.
bittersweet memory.
I like how you're saying this is a spoiler, but still being like really vague.
But if you've
When
seen
the
the movie,
ball
you know
rolls out of
exactly
the
what I'm
thing.
talking about.
Yeah.
Because like when said like that, it doesn't sound significant, but with the context, buddy, whoo, that's a moment, man.
I'm just remembering it right now. I'm just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah,
dude.
So that's the other one where I got
Was
legit
it-
misty-eyed. That's brutal.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But
What was the other Inside Out moment? The part where the one character ceased to exist.
yeah, that's the other one.
Always.
That
Yeah.
one didn't do it for me as much, but it did it for a lot of other people. So
Yeah. That I think that did it for me
That's
more
fair.
than the ending. Honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. Pixar, dude.
Sad
Pixar,
parts
man.
Also, like what I, like I've personally never been like actually really disappointed by a Pixar movie before, but like I have like favorite.
Did you see Brave?
Huh?
Did you see Brave?
Yes, that's a good movie.
That's incorrect, sir.
I'm right in between. I thought it was pretty good. It was.
It was good.
It's not top 10, but it was solid. I thought it was fine.
Yeah. It wasn't a top
Okay.
10, but it's like it's a nice watch. I like it.
Yeah. I know the weird.
Okay. If it was like if it wasn't a Disney Pixar movie and it was like DreamWorks, I'd be like, it sounds about right for DreamWorks. But also, I half the time hate DreamWorks movies, and the other half is like Prince of Egypt.
How to Train Your
where
Dragon.
it's, like great. How to Train Your Dragon.
Speaking
is
of
great.
which, oh my
Yeah,
gosh,
they're
that is
either,
like in a what is it like 2 months from
9
now?
or 2.
Well, here's the DreamWorks
Right.
movie that I was gonna say. Can I say a couple things? I was gonna say with
Yeah.
the interesting thing
Absolutely.
about Pixar is that the standard we hold them to such a higher standard. Like I would be willing to guess that we hold them to a higher standard than most live action movies at this point.
Oh
Like
yeah.
I would
they've kind of
agree.
done it to themselves because they consistently make such like ridiculously smart, emotionally mature, well thought out, beautiful movies. But like that is interesting. Like if it was made by someone else, it'd be like, oh yeah, it's fine. But then, because it's Pixar, we're like, well, it's Pixar. You know, we hold them to this like
Has to be
right.
a 10
we hold
every
them to
time.
the standard. And but then the other thing is the DreamWorks movie that I've always like. I think is a bit of an underrated masterpiece is Kung Fu Panda.
That's well.
I mean,
That's not completely. I don't completely disagree.
Neither do I.
Because there's funny moments and there's really unfunny kind of cringy
Sure.
moments for me.
And it definitely depends on your sense of humor. But the thing I find interesting about Kung Fu Panda is like the characters and the character development is like surprisingly emotional mature for a DreamWorks movie, first of all, but for a kids movie just in general. Like to the point where like the mentor figure goes through more character development almost than the main character does. Which is very rare for like any movie.
Yeah.
With those kind of like archetypal kind of characters. And then also
Right.
That is
attention to detail because like the classic thing when Americans try to make movies set in China is that they always get the architecture wrong. They always do Japanese architecture. But apparently with
Oh, boy.
Kung Fu Panda, they nailed it. It was spot on in terms of the way they kind of like got the culture and everything. It was all, you know, not like an American parody. Like it felt legit.
Wow.
So that movie holds a special place in
I
my
gotta
heart.
check that one out again. Actually, I haven't seen it in a couple
Yeah,
years.
1 and 2 are both very well worth watching. Oh, and then the other thing is that their villains are like actually interesting, especially in the second one. Like in the second one, they have like it's a peacock that's made to be intimidating, and he's voiced by Gary Oldman, and he's this weird, like sympathetic but not character. And
I
it
actually
works.
saw the second one. I actually saw the second one like once. Dude, that was like really intense when there was like that fight scene
Yeah.
at the end, I think it was.
Yeah.
That was intense.
It's intense, man.
Okay, question though, because I feel like you just threw a little shade. Was the third not good?
I never saw it.
Oh, that would
I heard
explain
mixed
it because I
things
was like,
about it, so
oh,
I didn't bother.
okay, you can't speak for it. Got it.
That was the one where he like found his dad.
Yeah.
And he's
And,
played by the guy from Breaking Bad whose name
Bryan
escapes me.
Cranston.
Bryan Cranston?
Bryan Cranston, thank you.
And I know J.K. Simmons is in that too.
Yeah.
Which almost makes me want to see it just because I want to see him as a cartoon character.
J.K. Simmons is in that?
Yeah, I think he's the bad guy. I think.
Could've been.
Who's the bad guy?
I don't know. I haven't
Like
seen
the
it.
the third one is a little bit forgettable apparently because like
I never saw it.
That's what
when
I've
you
heard.
said the
yeah.
bad guys from the first two, I was like, yeah, the tiger and the peacock, and I know exactly who you're talking about.
Right.
And I can't remember who the bad guy is in the third one.
Yeah, no, me
like,
neither.
He finds his dad, and that's the interesting part.
Right.
And it's not really that interesting.
Yeah. Also, I was just gonna
Yeah,
say
fair enough.
we actually already saw J.K. Simmons as an animated character in Zootopia.
Okay, that's what that's what I was trying to remember.
Yeah, he was the lion chief guy. Yeah.
Like the
That's
mayor.
right. That's right.
Yeah.
He just
Yeah.
pops up and stuff.
I don't know why. Like,
Right.
I haven't seen J.K. in like a whole lot of things, but when he popped up in that film, I was like, "Yo!"
Yeah. Same.
It's great.
Because like
Yep.
my favorite role of him is Cave Johnson in Portal 2.
Have you
Wow.
seen
Cave
Whiplash?
Johnson. No, I know he's good in that, but I have not seen it.
Because you might change your mind
Nor
on your
have I.
favorite role.
Yeah, probably.
It's
Come on.
great.
It's
because
not,
I haven't seen it, but like
Yeah.
I know that he like really went all in with that.
Absolutely.
It's not his role in Spider-Man? Come on.
Pictures of Spider-Man.
I guess
Here's a
Whiplash is like the R-rated version of who he is in Spider-Man.
Oh, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
The jazz version of J. Jonah Jameson.
Jonah Jameson. Mm-hmm. Wow. Jazz and sadness.
That's what you could call the movie.
Oh man.
You could.
The next project by Damien Chazelle, Jazz and Sadness.
Jazz and sadness.
I still have to see that movie. I will eventually.
It's great.
Apparently, the bad guy in Kung Fu Panda 3 is called Kai. He's some
Okay.
kind of rhino thing. Not rhino, but he has antlers and he's big. Is he an ox? I don't know. I really don't know what he is. And he like steals souls or something.
Ooh,
Oh man.
dang
It's-
son.
But he's just so boring though, because I
Aw.
still can't. I'm looking at him and I still can't remember jack squat about him.
Yeah, fair enough. Right, and especially with the standard that they set up with the first two villains, like especially with the Peacock in Kung Fu Panda 2,
Mm-hmm.
like that's a high standard, and so to kind of fall so short of that is a bummer. Which is why I didn't see
Right.
it, because I kind of heard that and I was like,
Wah, wah,
Yep,
Didn't bother.
happens a lot with movies for me.
I'm
honestly.
gonna preserve the perfect memory of like of a good movie without seeing an underwhelming sequel. Typically,
Mm-hmm.
Right. That's why Toy Story 4 scares me so much.
yeah,
Although I
Yeah.
will say,
Perfect trilogy.
I have a very vivid kind of memory. That's the word. I don't know why I couldn't remember that.
Couldn't remember the word.
I know.
he could save others from forgetting, but not himself.
Yeah, but yeah, I have a very vivid memory of like this. I used to go to like a summer days camp, and I was on the bus, and I was sitting next to this kid, and he was like, "Oh man, you know they're making Toy Story 3. You know they're really out of ideas over there." Like he literally said that to me because he was like,
Wow.
"No, this isn't gonna be good." And look now,
Yeah, wow.
like that's why I have faith in this
Yep.
because
All right.
John Lasseter said that like when it was announced like years ago, he said that they would never use these characters for any kind of money purposes, and because
Right.
they're like because you know being their first film, they're much too important to them.
Right.
So like it has to
Right.
be good.
Sense.
Right. It's only if they have something that like connects with them emotionally
Yeah, for
that
sure.
they're gonna dive back into it.
Absolutely. I'm curious to see exactly how it'll dive back in.
Same.
But yeah, like so in a way, I kind of know that it'll be good, but I'm gonna be I gotta be cautious.
Yeah, same.
For sure.
Same.
Hopefully,
And I'll
it'll blow me
definitely
away.
keep a wary eye on the reviews before I jump in head first.
Yeah.
Probably.
Also, I'm scared because of that because I know that the first two Toy Story movies have 100%, the third has 99%, and I hope this
Right.
one still has just as high.
Right.
Like-
I'll take a 98%. They can go down a
98%,
percent.
that's
It'll
fine.
still be nearly flawless.
That's okay.
Works for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I think that's where I'll differ with you a bit. I'm going to see it first day.
Okay.
They already have my money because I
Because
can't.
Pixar.
I
That's
can't
fair.
not.
That's fair.
Same actually.
Like, there's just certain franchises where I have to do that.
yeah.
No, I get
I'll be
that.
there first day
Totally.
as well.
Fair enough.
Good.
Fair enough.
I'll get that day off work just so I can see Toy Story 4.
All right.
Yep.
Yeah. Speaking of one that I'm gonna try to see as soon as possible is Glass. You seen this? Have you heard
Mm.
about
Yeah,
this?
I've heard of it.
I've heard
I
about
never
this.
saw Unbreakable and I never saw Split. Oops.
Same.
Okay.
I've been meaning to see Unbreakable, but I haven't gotten around to it. There are a lot of movies I haven't gotten around to seeing, unfortunately. I have like this every time someone brings up something like I need to see, I'll like, all right, I'll add it to the list. It's
Right,
like this
absolutely.
ever-growing, impossible to fulfill list at this point. But I
Right.
would like
That's
to see
my
at least see Unbreakable.
yeah.
That's kind of like one of Shyamalan's classics. So
It's one of the good ones. Absolutely. Yeah, that's the whole premise of my podcast. I haven't seen enough movies, so this is what the podcast is for.
But the question
Nice.
is,
It's a way to, like-
the question about Glass is, will it be as good as The Last Airbender?
Oh,
that's not a hard thing to do.
yeah. It's like asking somebody who jumps hurdles for a living to like kind of walk over a molehill. Like, just if you can get over this, sir, that'd be great. You're like an Olympic jumper, but just
Right.
if you could do this,
This may be a
real
little
quick,
difficult, but if you could do this
Yeah.
for us, that would be amazing.
it would just make our lives. Thank you very much. He's like, yeah, absolutely, weirdo.
Yeah, I think Last Airbender was like... Did that come out before or after The Happening?
Because
the
honestly don't know.
The Happening is the one that's so bad it's good. Because that movie is
Okay.
legitimately hilarious. But entirely unintentionally.
And then Last Airbender is so bad that it
just
bad.
makes everyone sad.
It makes everyone sad. It's so bad that it's sad.
Uh-huh.
Put that on the
Yeah.
Blu-ray.
Right, no one's watching that ironically.
That's true.
No.
No one's watching
Kind of
it.
unfortunate.
Exactly. No one's watching it. If you're watching it, you're watching it because either you like it for some reason because
You have
you're
really
from a
low
different planet,
standards.
or you just hate yourself that much.
It's like a
Right.
form of self-torture.
Yeah.
Alright.
It's what the only people watching Last Airbender is like. Some guys tied to a chair is like, you either have to give me your money, or you have to watch The Last Airbender.
Right. It's like gagged and bound.
Just take it.
Take it all.
Right.
Let me go.
Take whatever you want.
The safe is in my closet.
Not that.
Just kill me.
Oh man.
What is it that Saw says? Would you like to play a game or something?
Right. That's a movie I haven't
Would
seen.
like to play a
Probably.
game. I haven't seen those either.
Yeah, no. Not for me.
Hello, everybody. This is Bagel Gabe editing in the future, and I just wanted to say that this is actually a two-part episode. That is right. The first part is movies, and the second part is more on the side of music. We talked for like 2.5 hours, so already it's been quite a bit to edit down. But yeah, so the next episode will probably be out next week or in 2 weeks, something like that. I don't know. Most likely, if this gets 50 views on YouTube before next week, then I'll try to get it out next week. All right. So yeah, to end this episode, I'm just gonna give a little clip of something that happened earlier on in the podcast when Gabe Rodriguez kind of lost connection. So yes, enjoy, and see you in the next one.
The only way I can make it a double feature is if I...
Uh-oh. Did he died?
Rodriguez, are you okay?
I've been talking to myself.
Welcome back.
There we go.
you.
Hello. Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
I don't
Yes,
know
So
what
I guess
happened
just
happened.
pick
for a
up where you
second.
left off.
Okay. What was I talking about?
You were talking about.
No!
He just went away. What was I talking about?
I'm back. Nope.
Nope. Completely gone.
This is such high quality content.
Honestly. Gabe Rodriguez has left the chat. That was the easiest joke I have ever made.
That's good. That's very good. That's one for like the after credits kind of thing.
Oh, yeah. That'd be funny.